the last value of our beloved Americans are that, oh my God, they pray a lot. And I think one of the very interesting aspects of all of this, and believe me, I don't even know where it came from, because when I was a kid in the 60s and even the 70s, this was a secular country. It has become something very different. But Americans equate being American with being Christian. Over half the country thinks that you're a good American if you are a good Christian. This is very interesting when compared with, say, Poland, which is a tremendously Catholic country. It's a very Catholic country, even if you talk about Spain or France, even Italy. Less than 10% of those countries connect, equate, or relate their national culture in any way, or their national identity, with religion. So it's what it has done is it not only really went against the foundation values of our Constitution, and again, back to the first question, well, if something doesn't work in the Constitution, and you guys are all about change, then why don't you fix it? Who knows? Who knows? But in this context, when we're talking about religion, and that the separation of church and state is a very hard and fast, black and white, concrete value that we've grown up with, and it's become blurred. And for some reason, this has been accepted as an ideal that goes against constitutional values, whereas gun laws have not. So it makes no sense. But anyway, many things have become blurred that were very black and white before in the United States. And I think one of them connected to this is how we view time, in the sense that we were, I believe, a more linear kind of time people, and you may still think that, but if you think about the fluidity that comes with multitasking, working around the clock, texting and walking, and phone calls while driving, I think we now actually look very different. So the blurring of the lines and we were a fact-based culture is very much, sort of faith over facts, not a very scientific, kind of low context, black and white, bottom line kind of thinking, which we had, which we were known for before. So one explanation for our sort of bottom line thinking was that the pioneer mentality, it stemmed from the pioneer mentality, which favored action over words. And so connected with this is the idea of, intellectualism and the love of learning. And I think this trend also does us a disservice, because it sort of adds to that idea that, you don't think too hard or too long or too much talking, it's kind of irksome to Americans. Asians and other cultures like the French, they place a high value on learning. And so for them, you can laugh and say, oh, there's nothing so practical as a good theory. But, this censors, in a sense, our thinking and, our thoughts and feelings about how we feel about issues and topics and things that affect us, politics and so forth. So criticism has a healthy effect for some and is welcome, but, for Americans, I think, big books, lots of talk, and so forth, doesn't align with their affirming preference for optimism or a quick fix. So the lines have been blurred, and then they have quite a negative effect. Anti-intellectualism has always been a part of our value system, to show us, that, actions speak louder than words. That's been one of our proverbs. But I think that this faith over facts thinking, this subjective thinking that isn't critical, does us, puts us at a disadvantage. And in a culture of the United States that's known to favor facts and figures over emotions and was low context, is now, has gone from a country that put a man on the moon to one that believes that climate change is a hoax. So it's a strange place we live in. I feel like I'm down the Alice in Wonderland, down the rabbit hole country. But the beauty of change is that it's important to recognize that it's there, and to know in this boots on the ground way that I've hopefully given you some insights to, that, it's important to know what Americans are about, but I think that for Americans, what's important for them as the people of this culture, that our thinking process, while it's changed from linear to fluid, I really do recommend that, it goes back, because the complexities of things like climate change or the economy, human rights, literacy, poverty, and hunger inadequately can be addressed in 45-second sound bites. Real-world problems don't get solved quickly, despite our penchant for resolutions in the time it takes to run a 30-minute sitcom, which is how we like to wrap things up. I think we all know that life is pretty messy and unwieldy for that kind of hasty thinking. So this cowboy swift certainty has even had the additional disadvantage of this different kind of blurred thinking, blurring the lines. And also, I'll just say quickly, one last thing is that it's our opportunity to educate ourselves and hopefully educate other people about what we see, what's going on. And I would just say that, the founding fathers of our country knew the value of a very well-educated person with a high level of skills and interests. They were quite Renaissance men. So those are the kinds of people that founded my country, and I'm sort of hoping that we'll get back to that again.